Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. All right, welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast, the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective and a member of the College Huddle podcast community. If you're not already ready, make sure you give us a follow on all our social media accounts. And as always, we have to talk about our sponsor, and that is the Fireman Moving Company. They are the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote, and I promise they will help you and make your life so much easier in any moving process you have, big or small, near or far. Just let the professionals do it, man. As always, I've got Tyler here with me, man. Tyler, you ready to jump into another episode of some position breakdowns?
Yeah, man, I've been waiting for this one. Let's go.
Before we do that, we have to get caught up with our Red Towel wrap-up, which is brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company. So let's get a word from Trent.
Don't forget your headboard, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green. All right. Hey!
Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
All right, so with the Red Towel wrap up, that song still gets me. WKU softball announced the signing of Jenna Blanton, a transfer from Kentucky. She decided to move down here to the good guys.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll look a lot better in red. We will forgive her of her sins of playing for the Kitty Cats. But obviously, we're glad to have her on our team now. Welcome to Bowling Green. Welcome to the Hill, Jenna.
Also, WKU basketball, their road game was confirmed at Michigan for December 29th. Other known games at this time are 11-4, we play Wichita at home, Wichita State. 11-9, we play at Grand Canyon. 11-17, we play home at Lipscomb. 11-26, one that people have been wanting, we play at Kentucky. 12-14, we play at home versus Murray State. 12-16, we play at home versus Seattle University. Aforementioned 12-29 at Michigan. To be announced is Jackson State, and to be announced also Kentucky Wesleyan.
Yeah, so the non-conference, the out-of-conference schedule is looking, pretty good in my opinion. I mean, Wichita State, obviously the return game, the WAC conference alignment series that we have Grand Canyon and Seattle. Murray State, we have the return game. At in Michigan and at in Kentucky are two great games, especially for strength of schedule. Obviously, they're both on the road, but we heard a lot of complaints and moaning and groaning last year about the strength of the schedule or lack thereof. But this year's schedule is shaping up to be pretty good, just good competition that should get us ready for the conference schedule.
And CUSA released the men's and women's conference scheduling for basketball, and we will deep dive into that later in a basketball dedicated episode.
Yeah, the conference schedule came out pretty much right as that Michigan game was released. Conference USA released all the in-conference games. The mirror scheduling is still there for men's and women. So wherever the men are playing, the women are on the road, or vice versa. So, same scheduling concept as they've been doing the last several years. Just looking at it quick glance, we start the year with Liberty just like we did last year, but this year we're on the road, as we had them at home last year to start conference play. And then we end with them at home this year, whereas we ended with them on the road last year. So looks like it might be a similar flow of the opponents. I haven't put it side by side, but I do expect Conference USA to take a step forward. We had several good and surprising teams last year, and I expect us to be right there near the top of the pack.
WKU football, they have themes with the home games this year, and I hope everyone comes to the game. Also, look at what theme each game is, and come on, let's either red out, white out the house. But they are as followed: EKU is a white out. Toledo, which is Parents Weekend, that's red or white. UTEP is a red out. Kennesaw State University, that's a blackout. La Tech, that's homecoming. The theme is red there. And Jack State is senior day, and that is also red.
Yeah, I mean, I like having kind of everyone hopefully doing the same thing, wearing red or white. And then the one blackout game we've done the last few years. Haven't heard if we're going to have an on campus concert like we have the last couple of years. Obviously, Shaq a couple of years ago for the UAB game, and then we had the country singer this last year that was pretty good, big crowd there on South Lawn. So I haven't heard if we're going to do that again this year. I would not be surprised if that happens again for that blackout game. But really excited about this schedule, and obviously we'll deep dive more into that as well as we get closer to the season starting.
The GOAT herself, Katie Craig, plays in the Women's Western Amateur, which takes place July 15th through the 20th.
Yeah, as we're recording, that's just a couple days away. But as this is posted live for everyone to listen to, that will have already happened, and we'll update how she did. But she's just been having an awesome summer, has won a couple events, has placed highly in a couple others. Is just having a really good showing that should lead to a really strong senior year for her coming up.
Pro top Tyler Higbee was revealed likely to not be ready for the start of the NFL season as he continues to rehab from a torn MCL, ACL he injured during the playoffs.
Yeah, we hate to hear that for Tyler. He's at this point, he's a veteran in the league, been with the Rams for a long time, really productive player when they throw the ball his way, really good blocker. Obviously we hate to hear that he got injured at the end of last year in the playoffs, but hopefully he heals up and comes back strong and is able to continue for the Rams.
This is also fun. This next one, Topper Fest, which is awesome. It's freaking awesome. If you ever get a chance to go, I would highly encourage everyone and their mamas to go to this. Last year, I got some pretty cool jerseys, which include a signed Malachi Corley jersey. I got Debo's jersey. He's playing with the Atlanta Falcons, so I got that. Malone's. But it's a great time. That was announced. It's open to all students and members of the community. It was announced to be on August 16th at 5:30 on the South Lawn. There will be food trucks, players, meet and greet, music, fireworks, and more. So mark your calendars and everyone just get there and have a ball because it is a blast.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a really fun event. I saw that they're going to have the volleyball team there to do meeting and autograph signing if you'd like, and then also have the football team there as well. Food trucks, music, fireworks. I'm sure they'll have bouncy houses and stuff for kids to keep them entertained if you bring the family. Hopefully the weather will be right, not be raining, but definitely looking forward to that. Anytime you have an excuse to get to campus, especially to come see some of the renovations going on. The new business college is being built right there behind, right beside Preston. I got to see it the other day when I was on campus. They're moving a lot of dirt for the indoor practice facility. The press box looks like it's near done with completion, getting ready for the season. So a lot of stuff going on campus, and Topperfest is a good excuse to come check out the new upgrades.
Moving on to Pro Top's Paige Briggs Romine. She recently got married. Congratulations. She signed with the Grand Rapid Rise in the Professional Volleyball League. She previously played and won a championship with the Omaha Supernovas last season.
Yeah, congratulations to Paige for the recent wedding and honeymoon that they got to enjoy, and then obviously winning the championship with the Supernovas. We highlighted that when it occurred several weeks ago. And I didn't realize she was a free agent. I just don't know if it's 1 year contracts every year. I'm not really sure how that works, but I did notice that it kind of looks like every roster is being re-signed this year. So she did change teams. She's with the Grand Rapids And obviously, we're looking forward to watching her contribute and hopefully help them win a championship in her second year.
I hope she does too. And WKU, last but not least, WKU cross country released their fall schedule.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to comb over it, but obviously we'll keep up with the cross country team as they compete. We'll talk about the results, and hopefully they have a strong showing in all their meets and leading up to the Conference USA championships.
That wraps up the Red Tower Wrap Up, brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company. Moth, back to you.
Yeah, man, really good Red Tower Wrap Up. Just a lot of news, a lot of information. It's kind of the doldrums of summer. Usually there's not a lot of stuff going on in July, but we definitely had a lot of stuff to talk about. Pretty nice and neat that the basketball schedule is it feels like it's near completion, like we're getting close to it being released, whereas I think last year it didn't come out to the end of August or early September before we saw the full version of that schedule. So just a lot of really exciting stuff going on the Hill, obviously with our athletics. So just a good wrap up in general. We are going to continue our 2024 football position breakdown series. This episode, we are talking about the defensive backs and special teams. As a caveat, like we always say, all of our information is coming from the Phil Steele College Football Preview Magazine or the WKU Sports online official roster for any player data or information, height, weight, year, number, etc. All that is going to be derived from those two sources. So hopefully all of our information is correct, but we are depending on those sources for our info to be correct. Now, first off, we're going to start with the defensive backs, and that is going to combine the cornerbacks and safeties. They are coached by Devon Brown. They are ranked by Phil Steele, tied for the second best unit in Conference USA, behind Jacksonville State, who's number 1, and we're tied with Liberty as the number 2 team as far as defensive back units go. As always, we're going to talk about our losses from last year's team who will not be on the roster this year. And first, we have Davion Williams, who exhausted his eligibility and got a rookie minicamp invite with the Falcons. We have Rome Weber, who exhausted his eligibility. Talik Allen, who transferred and is undecided where he's going. Tacolve Williams exhausted his eligibility. Daniel Edwards has transferred but not announced where he's going, undecided. Ricky Davis also undecided on his transfer. Kendrick Simpkins transferred to Baylor. Tavares Springer transferred and is undecided. Abdul Latif Adu is transferring and is undecided. Manny Moss is transferring and is undecided. Chavaris Dumas is transferring to Murray State. TJ Springer is transferring to Chattanooga. And Amari Smith is also transferring to Chattanooga. So a lot of turnover there. A few guys that exhausted their eligibility, several transferring to new homes, and a whole lot that are undecided where they're going. Tyler, tell me what you think about this crop of guys and what it's going to mean, not having them on the roster this coming year.
Well, last season our cupboard was kind of bare back in the DBs, and this year, as we're going to talk about, we do have some new players coming on, but it does suck losing Williams and Weber. Weber, he was here for 2 years, played in 22 games. He transferred here from Wyoming. He recorded 46 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 11 pass defended as his time at WKU. Davion Williams, he played in 39 games for the Hilltoppers over 3 seasons with 12 starts. He transferred here from Michigan State. In his WKU career, he totaled 71 tackles, half tackle for loss, 3 interceptions, including the 45-yard pick six against Marshall to help the Hilltoppers clinch the Conference USA East Division crown in 2021. Couldn't let that slip by, and he had 12 passes defended. Tacolve Williams, he appeared in 9 games with 6 starts in his lone season on the Hill. He recorded 42 tackles in those games, including 2.5 tackles for loss. He recorded season highs of 12 tackles twice against our rival, MTSU and UTEP. He also had an interception, a pass breakup, and 3 quarterback hurries on the season. TJ Springer, he played in 11 games. of the 13 games in 2023 with the start at safety against Ohio State. He finished the season with 11 tackles and 1 quarterback hurry. He also had 3 season-high 3 tackles in the season opener against South Florida. But, I mean, once you get past that, it does suck losing players. But, I mean, the majority of them was kind of, fill-in players. And I think once you lose him, it sucks losing Kendrick Simpkins as well because, I mean, it's Kendrick Simpkins. He had a good year last year, and I hate to lose him. Baylor's getting a good one. Hopefully he goes down there and shows up and shows out. But Amari Smith, Manny Moss, Dumas, Abdul Latif Adu, Springer, I hope they find somewhere that they play a lot and that they get the spotlight they deserve. There's no hatred here. I just hope they go move on to greener pastures and they land somewhere better. But those, Rome, Williams, Davion Williams, it does suck losing them because they were such steady hands back there. And you knew that they were going to defend their guys. They were going to defend passes. They were going to break them up if they couldn't intercept them. But, I mean, with each year, new batch comes in, the old one's got to go.
Yeah, speaking of a new batch, we just talked about 13 guys that we lost from last year. So a lot of turnover, but we also have a lot of guys that we've added to the roster. And several of them are, to be excited about where they come from. You have to assume that if they came from P5, that you're getting somebody good. So let's talk about those guys. First off, we have Jai Eugene Jr. He is number 26. He's a 6 foot, 188-pound redshirt freshman. He transferred here from Tulane. They have Keyshawn Swanson. He's number 18. He's a 5 foot 11, 185-pound senior. He transferred here from Troy, along with Bernardi and 3 or 4 of his other friends. Then we have Kent Robinson. He's number 11. He's a 5 foot 10, 165-pound junior. He's a cornerback. He transferred from Texas A&M. We have Devontae Matthews. He's number 14. He's a 5 foot 10, 196-pound senior. He's a transfer quarterback from Nicholls State. We have DeMarco Williams. He's number 15. He's a 5 foot 10, 175-pound redshirt junior. He transferred here from Ole Miss. Marvelous Owens, number 37, 5 foot 11, 190-pound junior. He's a transfer quarterback from Butte College. Lataj Wright, number 24, 5 foot 10, 170-pound redshirt junior. Transfer from Fort Valley State. Dave Herrard, number 17, 6 foot, 196-pound redshirt junior. He is a transfer safety from Virginia. Jamar Mundy, he's number 10. He's a 5 foot 11, 176-pound redshirt junior. He is a transfer quarterback from Hutchinson Community College. Then we have Christian Washington. He is a safety transfer from Mount St. Joseph University. Xavier Tutu Griffin, he's number 25. He's a 6 foot, 182-pound freshman, high school signee. And then last but not least, we have Tate Titshaw. He is number 20. He's a 5 foot 11, 195-pound true freshman, safety, obviously a high school signee. So, a big batch of guys, a couple high school freshmen there or high school signees that are true freshmen this year, but a lot of transfers and some, JUCO, but several from some, high level schools that have made an impact. And you'd have to assume they're going to immediately come in here and start fighting for playing time and getting on the field. So, Tyler, what's your thought about this batch of guys that we're bringing in for this year's team?
I do like them. I like Keyshawn Swanson from Troy. Let me get down here to his information. So he spent 4 seasons at Troy prior to coming to WKU. Over the 3 seasons in which he played, he had to sit out the 2020 season due to a transfer rule that wouldn't affect him today. He appeared in 38 games with 89 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, an interception, 4 pass defended, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. As a junior there at Troy, he appeared in all 13 games with 6 starts. He had 47 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, a forced fumble recovery. That guy, those are some pretty good stats. I'm excited for what he's going to bring. Let me get up here to Jamar Mundy. He arrives on the hill after spending 2 seasons at Hutchinson Community College, JUCO guy, where he was considered a 3-star JUCO prospect by 24/7 Sports. He played in 19 games over 2 seasons with the Blue Dragons with 21 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, an interception, 2 pass breakups. He started his college career actually at Miami of Ohio, where he appeared in 3 games and had 2 tackles in his first season, and then he redshirted. Latal Wright, he appeared in 20 games for Fort Valley State at cornerback over 2 seasons before he transferred to WKU. He tallied 55 total tackles with 1 tackle for loss, as well as 3 interceptions and 13 passes defended. Eugene, he appeared in 1 game during his lone season at Tulane. He recorded a tackle in the team's win over Nichols. So we do have some good. I do like some of those. There's one he needs to prove himself. Marvelous Owens, which is a great name. He spent 2 seasons at the junior college level with Butte Community College before transferring here. He appeared in 19 games for Butte, tallying 62 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, and 9 pass breakups. He played in 11 games in the 2023 season. During his final season at Butte, finishing the year with 36 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery, and 6 pass breakups. I mean, that's a good size player to have, and I think if he's hungry enough, I think he's going to definitely show himself here. Xavier Tutu Griffin, he's a freshman. He comes to WKU from Vero Beach High, where he was considered a 3-star prospect at defensive back by 24/7 Sports and On3, a 2-star recruit by Rivals. As a senior in 2023, he totaled 46 tackles with 8.5 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hurries, 3 interceptions, 6 passes defended, and 2 block kicks, which is something that I'm excited about because I always like to see the kicks get blocked. As a junior at Port St. Lucie Centennial High in 2022, he also totaled 38 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and an interception. Let's see, transferred David Harrod. Sorry, I don't know why I said that like it was a question. He appeared in 20 games over 4 seasons at Virginia, which I'm excited about him getting some P5 love here. Including 11 of the Cavaliers games during the 2023 season with 7 starts. In his final year at Virginia, the safety posted 40 tackles with 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and 2 passes defended. He appeared in a combined 9 games across the 2021 and 2022 season and did not appear in any games during his first year of 2020. So, I mean, I think this class is going to be pretty dang good. Tate Titshaw, he actually played as a running back, also as a defensive back out of North Oconee High in Georgia, where he's considered a 3-star prospect by 24/7 Sports and On3, and a 2-star prospect by Rivals. He helped his team to a 12-1 season as a senior, starting both at running back and strong safety. He got 17 touchdowns in his in his senior year. So, I mean, really, if you look at that, I mean, we did get some good transfers. We do have some good freshmen coming in. You know, we got 2, 3 stars. If you make a 3-star play like a 4-star or 5-star because he's hungry, he wants it. I mean, I'll take that a lot more than I'll take a 5-star because sometimes, the 5-star comes in like he ain't got to prove himself. He just wants to show up and feel like he can show out. I want someone who's hungry, someone who's going to fight, someone who's going to rip someone's head off and just be aggressive out there. So, I mean, I ain't got much bad stuff to say about the new batch of players that we got in transfers or signees. But I'm just excited to see what they're going to bring to WKU.
Yeah, the one thing that jumps out at me when we go down this list and we talk about them, one, we just talked about losing 13 guys. We just talked about adding 12 guys. Of all those guys we added, only 2 are seniors. So 10 of those 12, almost all of them but 2. So 8 of the 10 have playing experience prior to coming to Western. So they've been in a college program, they've been in the weightlifting meetings, getting familiar just with how to conduct yourself and be ready, prepared for the college game. And they'll all have eligibility and able to come back next year. 10 of those 12 guys, and that's going to be huge for a position that one had a lot of turnover. You talk about losing 13, adding 12, and they're still considered the second best unit in Conference USA, tied with Liberty and behind Jacksonville State. I think that's pretty high praise from Phil Steele, considering how much we did lose, and several of those guys, like you mentioned earlier, were very, very productive. But we also added some really good pieces to the roster to backfill. And quite frankly, I think we might have gotten a little bigger and a little bit more athletic with some of those people that we added. Obviously, the play on the field is going to have to match, what our hopes and expectations are for them. But I have a lot of faith in Coach Devon Brown and Tyson, our defensive coordinator, to put them in position to be successful and make plays for us and help us be near, the top of the nation lead in turnover margin and interceptions like we have been the last couple of years. So excited for all those additions. Now we have to also talk about some other guys that are also on the roster. We have Nathan Griffin. He's number 45. He's a 6'1", 232-pound junior. Xavier Shaw, number 30, is a 6', 185-pound redshirt junior. Nazir Ward, number 27, is a 6', 170-pound sophomore. Josh Mensa, number 29, is a 6'1", 192-pound redshirt sophomore. Virgil Marshall, number 19, is a 6', 205-pound junior. Ellie George, number 28, 5'11", 205-pound redshirt junior. And then Alex Ford, number 41, is a 5'11", 196-pound redshirt sophomore. So Tyler, once again, tell me about this batch of guys and just what your expectations are for them on this year's team.
Well, I have pretty high standards for these guys because they have been in the program, 1 or 2 years, 3 years tops. These guys, they come in, they've been in the weight program, so they should be bigger and stronger and faster. They know what the coaches expect to them. But I'm just going to dive into it. So Virgil Marshall, number 19, he played in 12 games, started in 7, and he recorded 24 total tackles, picked off 1 pass, and he returned 40 yards during the October 5th win at La Tech. He had 2 pass breakups on season, and Marshall posted season-high 5 tackles in WKU's win at UTEP. And he was the 8th most tackler on the teams of returning players. Nazir Ward, 6 foot, 170 pounds. He actually was 2023 Conference USA All Freshman team. Ward appeared in 9 games as a true freshman, providing depth at the cornerback section. He totaled 5 tackles in his first season on the hill. George, he saw action in 10 games during the second season on the hill, primarily in special team roles. So, he came in on kickoff and punt, and, he at least he saw some action. Hopefully he's redshirt junior. Hopefully he'll see some more this year. Joshua Mensa, he didn't see any game action. Xavier Shaw, he appeared in 9 games for WKU during the 2023 season, primarily on special teams role. And he recorded 1 tackle at Jack State on October 17th. Alex Ford, he was also 2023 Conference USA All Freshman team. He appeared in 5 games in his second season, including each of the last 4 games the Hilltoppers played in the 2023 year. He recorded 4 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and picked off a pass in WKU's victory at FIU in the regular season finale. I will take those guys. I hope some of the ones who didn't get much playing time or maybe just special teams play, hopefully they prove themselves in this offseason. Maybe get a little bit faster, work out their body, and come in ready to play and ready to dominate Conference USA this season and our non-conference schedule.
Yeah, another thing that jumps out at me, the same as when we talk about the additions, a bunch of non-seniors. All of those guys can come back. All those guys are redshirt sophomores or juniors or redshirt juniors. All those guys were depth chart pieces who should be familiar and comfortable getting on the field and trying to fight to earn some playing time. So I feel really good about our depth chart and just the amount of athletes and players that we have that are ready to step up and ready to compete for, starting spots or second team spots, third team, just whatever it is, or special teams, whatever it is to contribute. We've got a whole lot of guys, and most of them with playing experience that are ready to compete and push each other to get better. Now we have to talk about the starters, and I'm really excited for this batch of guys that we're going to talk about. I have a hard time believing that if we just were looking at the starters for all 10 teams in Conference USA, there's no way I could call us the number 2 or tied for number 2 team in the conference. I think this group of 5 players that we're going to talk about is the best set of secondary guys in the conference. And we're going to start with our nickelback. He is number 21, Upton Stout. He's 5'9", 185-pound junior. We all know that he entered the portal briefly, before the bowl game, flirted a little bit with USC, with Michigan while they were on route to winning the national championship. Just a really physical player, really athletic player, makes a lot of plays for us. And I would not be surprised to see him kind of slide into that Kendrick Simpkins role that has been, vacated by him going to Baylor. So really excited for Upton coming back, staying with our program, and being here another year. The starting left corner should be number 4, Anthony Johnson, 5'10", 180-pound senior. He also briefly entered the portal after the season last year. Had some interest from some other schools, some ACC teams, etc., but decided to withdraw his name. He came back home. He wanted to be a Hilltopper. Had a great, kind of a breakout season last year. Had several interceptions, a lot of passes deflected, and just really made a difference in a lot of games. And really excited to have him as a starting corner. And then our other corner, the right side, will be number 11, Kent Robinson. He's a 5'10", 175-pound junior. He's a transfer from Texas A&M. Again, P5 guy, should just plug and play, be comfortable on the field. He's a junior. It's not his first trip around the park. So really excited for what he's going to bring. Then our starting strong safety is number 15, DeMarco Williams. He's a 5'10", 175-pound junior, transfer from Ole Miss. Again, another P5 guy, Lane Kiffin's system. They really recruit well at Ole Miss. So, someone's getting underutilized and not getting playing time, just doesn't feel like they're being valued and they want to go somewhere else. That's generally what happens. Those P5 guys, they get, over recruited, underappreciated, and then they go somewhere else where they get playing time. So we're going to welcome him here. I have high expectations for him. And then lastly, the starting free safety, number 14, Devontae Matthews. He's a 6'1", 205-pound senior, transfer from Nichols. Again, this is a senior. We have an all upper class starting defensive backfield here. We have a junior in Upton Stout, senior in Anthony Johnson. DeMarco Williams is a junior. Kent Robinson is a junior. Devontae Matthews is a senior. So this is an experienced and talented bunch of guys that are going to be starting on the field and just helping lead our defense. I think this is absolutely a strength of our defense. The back end should be solid. We should be, keeping those big plays in front of us and hopefully continuing that trend of causing and creating a lot of turnovers, fumbles, and hopefully fumble recovery. So really excited for these guys. Tyler, what do you think about the projected starters in the defensive backfield?
I like them. I'm kind of surprised that we do have a few transfers coming in automatically starting whenever we have, Virgil Marshall sitting back there. But, Coach Helton, he knows what he's doing. Upton Stout, this dude has a litany of awards from last year. He was on the 2023 Jim Thrope Award watch list, the 2022 Freshman All-American honorable mention, and 2022 Freshman USA or Conference USA honorable mention. He appeared in 7 games last year with 6 starts, but he had to sit out the last 5 because he was injured. But during that time, he finished the year with 29 total tackles, including 1.5 tackle for loss, a half sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, an interception, 5 quarterback hurries, and 8 pass breakups. His interception came against the Houston Christian, and I remember it because I watched it. This boy, he got the interception, ran from one side of the field all the way to the other, and then ran just straight across, and then ran in and got the touchdown. I mean, I'm glad he came back. I know he was courted by some big name schools, like you mentioned, but man, it was good to see him come back and say, no, I'm going to finish it up as a Hilltopper, or at least play this year's Hilltopper. Anthony Johnson Jr., he was the 2023 famous Toastery Bowl defensive MVP in the 2023 Conference USA honorable mention. He appeared in 10 games with 9 starts at cornerback. During his first season on the Hill, he recorded 44 total tackles. He was the 5th most on the team, with 1 tackle for loss, a fumble recovery, 4 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, and 1 block kick. I mean, I'm really proud to see him come back for a senior year, and to see him be able to stand back there. And he's this year, I think him and Upton Stout's going to be key pieces for our defensive backs. Kent Robinson, as you said, transferred here from Texas A&M. He appeared in 5 games, all of which was during the 2023 season. He recorded 6 total tackles, with 5 of those coming in the Aggies bowl game versus Oklahoma State, plus 4 pass breakups, including 2 against the Cowboys. He did not play, and he redshirted his first season in 2022. DeMarco Williams, he played in 17 games over the last 2 seasons at Ole Miss, like you said. I'm glad to see him transfer up here, because you're right. We got 2 SEC guys coming in. Yeah. And I know people will claim Big Ten, SEC's king of college football. I think that's bullcrap. Big Ten's trash. I'm glad that we can get some of that bloodline up here. But DeMarco Williams, he played in 8 games for the Rebels, mostly on special teams. But last year, over his time at Ole Miss, he played in 17 games over his last 2 seasons. He recorded 25 total tackles, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a pass defended. And he also posted 19 of those tackles in 9 games during the 2023 season. So, I mean, at least he's bringing that defensive intensity up here. Devontae Matthews, he came from Nicholls State, where he spent 1 season after starting his college career at West Georgia. Last season at Nicholls, Matthews was 3rd on the team in total tackles, posting 52 in 10 games. He had 2 tackles for loss, a pair of interceptions, and he returned for a combined 60 yards. 4 pass breakups and a fumble recovery. He returned 58 yards for a touchdown. So this guy right here, that tells me that if the ball comes loose and he's near it, he's going to scoop it up, and he's going to try his damnedest to get down there and score 6 for the good guys.
Yeah, playmakers. I think every single one of those starters is a playmaker, can be a difference maker, and I'm glad to have them on our team. So we've got to talk about the 4 questions that we ask of every position group. So first of all, Tyler, who is going to be the hardest to replace in the defensive back room from last year?
I think to me that's going to be I had changed it up a little bit. Davion Williams. He played in 39 games here. He transferred here from Michigan State, which I know I just said the Big Ten's trash, but I mean, he came in, he played good for us. He got 71 total tackles and a half tackle for loss. I think, and he spent time here, so I think that's going to be our hardest one to replace.
I'm going to go with Kendrick Simpkins. I just think he was just an absolute force. Really downhill player. Always seemed like he had a nose for the ball, was just kind of a missile. He played down towards the line of scrimmage. He's going to be tough to replace. And like I said earlier, talking about Upton, I'm not going to be surprised if we kind of slide him over into that role where he's kind of in that position to be the playmaker. He's a very physical player, very athletic player. And if you give him and he's a very smart player. I've heard players in practice talk about him just being very cerebral, smart, kind of knowing what's going to happen before the play unfolds. So you put him in that type of position where he can just go out, see how the offense is lining up, and then react to it, and get ahead of it and make a play. Really excited for how Upton might transfer into that unit, but I think Simpkins is going to be the toughest one to replace from last year. Tyler, who's going to be your breakout player this season?
To me, it's going to be a transfer. It's going to be Dave Herrard. He played 4 years at Virginia. He had 7 starts, 40 tackles last year. So I think he's going to have that. He's kind of got that dog in him that I can sense. And I can't wait to see him get back out there on our field and represent for the Tops. And I think he's going to be my breakout player.
I'm going to go with a different guy. I'm going to go with Kent Robinson, and I'll tell you why. He's a transfer. Obviously, we don't know exactly what we're getting with him. He came from Texas A&M, but my reasoning is he is starting on the opposite corner of Anthony Johnson, and I think people in Conference USA are going to remember that he had 4 interceptions last year, 5 passes defended, was just everywhere making plays on the ball. So I think that left side of the field is going to be kind of off limits. They might have Upton shadowed that way a lot as in a helping role. I just don't think it's going to go to his side of the field a lot, which means it's going to go to Kent Robinson's side of the field more often than not. And he's just going to have an opportunity to make plays as well as the safeties that are behind him. So I just have a feeling that, if you give him enough opportunities, he's going to take a couple of those away and give them back to our offense. So give me Kent Robinson. Now, who's going to be your MVP of the defensive back room?
This one is a no-brainer. I think it's going to be Upton Stout. This guy's earned 2 Conference USA honorable mentions in 2022, and he was on the Jim Thorpe Award watch list last year. He's coming back from injury, so he's had time to hopefully heal up, and I think he's going to show up, and like I said earlier, show out. And I think he's going to put the team on his back this year in the backfield.
Yeah, as always, we don't show or compare notes. I don't know what your answers are. You don't know what mine are going to be. But my answer is also Upton Stout. He's just a heck of an athlete. He was getting recruited by Southern California. He was getting recruited by National Championship Michigan. He was one of the hottest commodities, like a top 5 player in the transfer portal when he was in the portal. Like, he could have went just about anywhere he wanted to, turned down Michigan, turned down USC, and decided to come back to Western Kentucky. So we are really lucky to have him. We're glad he's back. And I just have high expectations and hope for him. I expect him to be the leader of this defense and really help propel this defense to a much higher level than we're at last year. So give me Upton Stout as my MVP. Now, what about your bold prediction for the 2024 season?
All right. So Anthony Johnson Jr., he has 4 career interceptions. This year, I see him boosting them numbers a little bit. And I see him ending the season with 9 interceptions, which will put him second on the list of all-time career interceptions with WKU.
So, the last 4 years, I think we've been mainly a top 40 defensive, our defensive backs and our turnover margin. We've been in that, top 40 region. The last couple of years, we've been in the top 5. I think this year, as the tied for number 2 in the conference, I think we lead the conference in interceptions. And I think we're in the top 2 to 3 in the nation in turnover margin again, if we're not leading it. I think we're going to lead the conference in interceptions. I think we'll do that easily because I think we're going to be in a lot of high-scoring shootout affairs. I think there's going to be a lot of passing and scoring and opportunities for those turnovers and interceptions. So I think we lead Conference USA in interceptions, and I think we're near the nation's lead in turnover margin. So a couple bold predictions from both of us there. No pressure, Anthony Johnson, and no pressure to the entire unit. to lead the conference and, and dang near lead the nation in turnovers. Defensive backs and special teams, obviously, man, that defensive back group is just a big group of players, a lot of turnover, but still just a really talented group. I'm really looking forward to their play on the field and just how they help lead this defense to being a stronger unit than what we saw last year. We definitely saw some big plays happen against us. We saw some running game defense deficiencies where we just couldn't get off the field, couldn't stop the run. I think we're going to be a lot better. And I'm really excited for that. I think we have a really good and talented group of players. And the same goes for our special team guys. Again, lost some all-timers in Corey and Tom, but I think we definitely replaced them with some talent and have some guys coming back that are still going to be just as strong and help us in the field position battle and just putting points up on the board. So I'm really excited. Obviously enjoying this position series breakdown. And looking forward to continuing it again as we're just about 5-6 weeks away now from the opening week of college football. And as we record, college football, the video game is about to release. We've seen a lot of sneak peeks, snippets, some gameplay, Western highlights, the snow game, intro coming onto the field. Just as we're recording now, I just posted some uniform sneak peeks and our overall rating. So that's obviously going to be a nice time filler for the next several weeks, getting ready for the college football season. I'm sure we'll all be simulating playing Alabama at Alabama. I'm sure we'll all be stomping them, 60-0, 60-6. That score sounds familiar. Oh yeah, we beat Marshall a few years ago by that score. So really looking forward to that game coming out and obviously getting to play and just, check out all the new features and the better graphics and just everything that we hope it is. I'm excited for it. And I'm obviously excited for the real college football season being right around the corner as we get ready for it. So Tyler, hit us with your final words and take us on out of here.
Yeah, you're right. I'm definitely going to get it whenever it comes out day one. And I will have, I think I'll allow Alabama to get maybe 21 points, but it's just going to be in garbage time there at the end after we're done blowing them out. As Phil Steele says about the defensive backs, we got 2 starters back. We added in 6 transfers to remain a solid unit with perhaps an upgrade in talent. So I'm excited to see how the defensive backs is going to be upgraded because we've typically had a pretty good DB unit. As you mentioned earlier, the turnover tops. We've been doing good in that statistic the last few years, and I'm excited to see how it's going to get better this year. Special teams, if you look at the ranks the last 6 years, in 2022 we were ranked 45th by Phil Steele. In 2023 we were ranked 75th, but that's a long way from 2018 when we was ranked 120th. So it seems like we've been getting better, special teams, and I feel like with Lucas coming back and to start his second year, I think he's just only going to get better. I'm excited to see what the punter situation is because you're right, Riley Stevens coming in. He's done good. He did good at Austin Peay. And, Cole Maynard, that's not a given that he is going to be a starter. So that's a good battle to watch. But, I'm just excited about the college football season coming too. And you're right, doing this position breakdown is great. And like I said, it makes me a better fan because I look at the numbers, I look at the names, I get to learn what they have done, what they can do, what they're going to do, pretty much, and how they rank on the team as the number of tacklers, the games they played, pass breakups, interceptions, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. So it just makes me a better fan. I hope it's helping everybody else too. But with that, everyone, I'm excited to see what y'all are going to do on WKU on College Football 25 because it's been 10 years. I sold my NCAA football game, NCAA 14, a few years ago. I was stupid. Wish I'd kept it. But man, I'm excited running out there with the chrome domes on, all red or all black jerseys, swapping it up a little bit. And I think I'm going to have me a Moonshine Throwdown rematch before the game actually happens. And I don't think Marshall's going to like it. I think that's going to be pretty embarrassing for you. And if anybody wants to play, I mean, I will throw down with you. KD, I'm looking at you. So with that, I'll say I hope everyone has a great week. And Moff, who has it better than us?
Nobody, buddy. You know it.
Let's go Tops.
Go Tops. Later, guys.
See you.